Hi everyone, I'm your instructor, Professor Adrienne Foster Scharf, and I'm really happy that you're taking Human Anatomy and Physiology 1 with me. Now that you've had a little time to look around our course space, figure out where things are, I wanted to go through a few important points from your syllabus and give you a heads up about how this semester will run. So what you're looking at here, this is the syllabus. You can find it in our course space under the course syllabus link. So all of your materials are basically accessible through the left side of your course space. So you just find the course syllabus link, click that, and it'll bring you to this document. I do want to note that at the time that I am recording this video, your syllabus has been updated. I've added some office hours to it. So if you have a syllabus from one of the first couple of days of class, you may want to delete that and download this updated syllabus. So this is my contact information. Again, I'm Professor Adrienne Foster Scharf. This is my email address. This is my office phone number. Now, please don't use the office phone number. I don't anticipate that I'm going to be in my office every day. So if you leave a message on the phone, there's a good chance that I won't be able to intercept it in enough time to answer you in a timely manner. So I'm requesting that you use my email address, or I also have the Remind app. So this is a texting app. So to access the Remind app and to use it, you basically have instructions in your course space under communication, and there's also a page as part of your syllabus that talks about how to sign up as well. This is our course ID. Another way to contact me is to come by an office hour. My office hours are all online. I'll be on Zoom, and the link to my office hours, by the way, is on the left side of your course space. So we've got a Monday office hour from 1 to 2 o'clock, Tuesday office hour from 1 to 2 o'clock, and then Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30. You can drop in. If none of these times is convenient for you, but you still have a question that you want to get answered, you can have access to my calendar using this link. So this is also linked in your course space. Basically, this is a link to my booking site. So when you click this link, it takes you to another web page that will show you a calendar and then the times that I'm available on that calendar. This class is an asynchronous class. This means that all of your course materials have been uploaded online, and they'll become available every Monday, no later than 10 o'clock in the morning. So you'll get your lectures there, assignments, quizzes, and exams. And you're free to do them anytime. You just have to make sure you do them before the due dates. For quizzes and practicals, there will be times that you'll have to type in the identification for different structures that are part of the human body. And the computer will grade that, but then I go back in behind the computer and make sure that it hasn't made a mistake or that it hasn't marked something wrong that's actually correct. So if you want to be sure that your paper gets checked by me, then you definitely need to make sure you hand in your stuff by the due date. Okay. For exams, I typically have portions of the exam that are graded by hand. If you don't turn in your paper on time, then you may miss the time at which I'm grading. So please turn your stuff in on time. Assignments are generally due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. I'm going to skip some of this other information. This is information about your textbook. Now, one thing I'll tell you about the lab is that we're using it primarily as a resource to help us identify structures of the human body. Okay, so this is a little description of how a typical week goes. If you're having trouble with your online class, you may want to connect with the site lab. They're the ones who are the experts on our learning management system, which is called Blackboard. And if it's not a Blackboard issue, but maybe it's an issue with your device, then you'll contact ITS, or Information Technology Services. Okay, this is probably the most important part of your syllabus. This is how you get graded. So we will have 4 exams that count, okay? during the semester. Each one is worth about 119 points. There'll be a cumulative final exam, that's what exam number 5 is, that you can also take. I will count the top 4 scores out of 5. And typically your exams are a combination of multiple choice. There might be some fill in the blank. There's always essay or short answer. In addition to the exams, you do have 125 points worth of homework credit. So let me explain the homework really quickly. Approximately every chapter has homework associated with it. You want to try to do that homework by the recommended due date. So in our course calendar online, there will be due dates posted. Try to complete the homework by that time. If you don't get the homework completed by the recommended due date, don't worry. The important thing is that the homework is completed before you take the exam that goes with that homework. So for example, in chapter 1, there's a homework that talks about the dead house, or these old anatomy labs. So if you wanted to do that homework, you could turn it in at the recommended due date, which would be this Sunday by 11:59 p.m., or you could turn it in by exam number 1. The only time you can't turn in a homework is after the exam has passed. So that's your homework. 125 points. There's a wide variety of different assignments that you could do. You don't have to do them all. I think I have twice as many homework points out there. So if there's a homework that doesn't sound interesting to you, you can skip it and do something else. Now, one thing that I do want you to be aware of is that I've posted practice exams in your course space. Those practice exams, there are 4 of them. One for exam 1, one for exam 2, one for exam 3, and one for exam 4. Those practice exams are worth 25 points. So if you do all 4 of those, you'll have 100 points, and then you only have to do a couple of other things to get to 125. If you do more than 125 points worth of homework credit, there's a good chance that you'll earn some bonus credit at the end of the semester, but it's not a guarantee. In addition to your exams and your homework, which make up the lecture portion of your class, you have a lab portion of your class. And I do want to stress right now that you have to pass the lab in order to pass the class. Okay, say it with me. I have to pass the lab in order to pass the class. Your lab grade comes from weekly lab quizzes. So those are the ones in the virtual labs folder. Remember, I said that we'll take about 11 of them, and then we'll count the top 9. In addition to that, you have lab practicals. So there are 2 lab practicals during the semester, one at about midterm and one at the end. And what you do during a lab practical is you'll see the models that you've studied for the previous 6 weeks or so, and you'll have to name the structures on them. Okay, so you'll do that at the midterm. So everything from the beginning of the semester through the appendicular skeleton will be on that practical, and you'll have to be able to name it. And then everything from the midterm to the end of the semester will be on the second lab practical. Together, they're worth about 110 points. So that's how you get graded in this class. This is just an explanation of where your points come from during the semester. A couple of things I wanted to note. Spelling is important in anatomy and physiology, so that means that after about the 2nd or maybe 3rd week of lab, I will start counting for misspelling. So every misspelling is either 0.25 points off, so 1/4 of a point off, or 25%, depending upon how many points there are in the question. There are a few bonus assignments during the semester. There are 2 points of bonus for every lab quiz. And in addition to that, you might hear me during lecture, or it might show up in an announcement, tell you that there's a bonus opportunity. So if you're interested in doing bonuses, you'll want to pay attention and keep an eye out for that. This is your tentative schedule for your assessments. Notice that for all of your exams, you basically have a week to complete the exam. It opens up on Sunday and then closes the next Sunday. So you want to make sure that you complete it on time at some point during that week. The only exception to this is final exam and sometimes exam number 4. Because those are at the end of the semester, I sometimes open those a little bit early so that if you're one of those people who works through the material quickly, you can take the exam ahead of time. One thing I also want to tell you about the exams and the lab quizzes. You get 2 attempts to do your best job on those assessments. Now, let's say you're taking the quiz and something happens to your computer. It shuts down or maybe the power goes out. Then you want to get back online as quickly as you can and open that assignment back up because the time will be running. Okay? And then you'll do your best to complete the assignment. Don't just assume it's done. Okay? You want to get back online, try to complete the assignment. That will count as your first attempt at the assignment. Then you'll have one more attempt. So just be aware of that. You want to make sure that you take these assessments where there's a stable internet connection. You want to make sure that kids aren't running around behind you or that you're being distracted by coworkers or friends or whatever. You also want to make sure that maybe you've restarted your computer recently so it doesn't lose memory and then shut down on you. Okay. Here are the dates for your lab practicals. At the very end, let me talk about attendance really quickly. So attendance and participation do apply in this class. Attendance is counted not just of opening folders and clicking on links. You actually have to submit assignments. So remember, there's a weekly lab quiz. You have to make sure that you're at least doing the weekly lab quiz so that I know that you're participating in the class. In the next 4 weeks or so, I'll have to verify to the college that you're participating in the class. If you're not doing lab quizzes or submitting homework, I can't say that you're attending the class and you will be withdrawn. By the way, that's a college-wide policy. It's not just mine. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to mention to you is that if you send me an email, please make sure you put Bio233 in the subject line so I know it's coming from this class and that it's not spam. When you have time, do read this interaction and communication plan. But at the very end of the syllabus, this is our tentative course schedule. This is how I've kind of planned out the lectures and the exams and things. So the chapter and lecture materials are listed first, and then these parts that have the skull beside them, those are the labs. So you'll want to find those folders in the virtual labs folder. Spring break this year goes from March 13th to March 19th, so be aware of that. And your final exam is the week of May 9th. The week of May 9th. I hope this helps. If you have any questions about the syllabus, how the course runs, please do let me know. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Take care.